Hello, YouTube! Welcome to another episode of Factorio here at the Fugitive Theater. My name is Tanis Fugit, and today, well, those of you who've already looked at the mini-map can see that I have been a little bit busy off-screen since the last episode, so let's take a quick look here at the fruits of my labor. Da-da-da! We have solar power! We have a great big solar farm. Thankfully, I had put all of these accumulators and solar panels into mass production before getting started on this because I needed quite a bit of both. Now, I used a I did use a blueprint, and as with the last episode, I will try, if I remember, to attach to link to the blueprint that I used, but it's a pretty basic one. You can just sort of see how it works here. It's symmetrical, it's tileable, which means that if this ever proves to be insufficient, I can copy it here, I can copy it up here, and this can tile forever. However, if I were to click on my power supply, you can see that not only is, am I satisfying a significant amount, I have 10 gigajoules of power, or sorry, 1 gigajoule of power in my accumulators. Now, that's of course accumulated charge and different from the production and satisfaction amounts. So I'm not sure if this will actually hold me for a full night. The only way for me to know that for sure would be to disconnect the original power generation method off the network and see if this holds. Now, this is attached to the full network, obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to get those stats. But this is attached to the full network by way of this backbone here, which heads up into the main base and it attaches to some of the infrastructure up here. But it is attached starting from here. This leads into the entire network, right? So this is attached to the entirety of the network. Are you actually doing anything on your own, or? I don't actually know if that one was doing anything. I might have just taken something serious offline. I'm not sure about that. Oh, actually, it does seem to have been connecting to up here. Hold on, let me put that back. Yeah, it's probably... It seems to be powering something. I'm not sure what. All right, never mind. We'll leave that alone. Certainly seems to be more important than I was giving it credit for. Either way, that is connected via here into like the main body of power. So if I were to click even from here, you can see that the accumulator charge is still holding. So all of this is on the same network. So what we're going to do here to test out our new shiny solar power is we're going to come up here and we are going to take the, wait, I'm in the wrong place. I'm like running over here and being like, hold on, this doesn't look like the right place I'm going to, because it is certainly not. It is actually down here. Keep eyes on. Anytime you cross over tracks, eyes open. So here's the main power, and we can see that it is attached to the main grid by two ways. First here, right here is a connection point, and second one right here is a connection point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take both of those off, and as we're coming into sort of daytime here, I'm going to take this off the line, and I'm going to take this off the line, and now the only thing supplying power anywhere in this network is the solar power. There we go. Now that's back on the network. Now if I were to take a look at it, well, it is satisfying power specifically by burning through the accumulator. And even during the day, well, here we are, now we're in the height of the day, and the accumulators are actually charging back up. So what I'm watching here is this accumulator charge amount. If this amount is going down, it means the solar panels are not producing enough electricity, and we're having to steal it out of the accumulators in order to supply everything. On the other side, if this number is going up, it means that the panels are supplying enough energy to keep everything running and feed some more into the accumulator over time. So it looks like we're about like even. It's like we're like exactly even. It's going up just a little bit, like it's waffling back and forth. It depends on what things are running. Let's actually turn on science. Let's start researching something. Let's start researching purple science, because that's the next thing we're going to go into. So now that we're researching science, our requirement should go up quite a bit. And yeah, now you can see the accumulator charge is dropping precipitously. So it looks like I'm going to need to tile that one more time in order to fully be able to go like pure solar power. Yeah, you see the accumulator is dropping even during the day, which means that we do not have enough power in the grid. Okay. There's not enough power being generated by those in order to support this. So unfortunately, what that means is that I can't go completely off of these yet. So there we go. Let's put these back on the grid. I can't go completely off these yet, but having that big power buffer is going to help us a ton in making sure that everything stays at full power, and if we do dip below full power, below our ability to sort of generate full power here and there, then we will have the accumulators to keep us going. So fully solar powered, we are not yet, but we're getting there. And there's always the opportunity that we'll get there eventually. So I'm actually gonna, in fact, because we are gonna want to combo that, we're gonna want to take that over a second time, or sorry, tile that out, you know, a second time, maybe even a third time. So in order for that to happen, we need quite a number of things. It was a total of 208 accumulators, 180 solar cells, and 16 substations, which I'm not producing substations, but still. So for that, it's 208. So like, we'll just do that. Now that's 200, but we'll make the other 8 up as we go. And this one's 180, that's 200. That's actually more than fine on its own. Okay. So yeah, as long as all these keep producing, we'll keep making. That sort of is what it is. Okay. So purple science, production science packs, they are now done. So if we take a look, the next thing that we can open up, we can immediately start opening up some purple science, like automation 3 for even better assembly machines and other things that we need purple science for. But instead, I think what we're going to do, instead of any of that, is we're going to move back and we're going to keep backfilling some stuff. I think I'm going to go with refined flammables, even though I'm not using any fire-based weapons, just because I want to backfill as much of this as possible. So let's just go with that. Let's do refined flammables, keep backfilling our science. And I mean, as you can see, there isn't any issues with the amount of science we're producing. It's, you know, it is being consumed. It is not nearly being consumed at a rate that's in any way problematic. So, and with this drop here for science, this is going to be great because I can make a whole third line that just comes out of here that just like goes one here, and that's one's going to be yellow science, one's going to be purple science, and we'll be able to supply all this no problem, no questions asked, right? So what does that mean for the rest of this episode, though, which is a good question, because I had kind of started talking about this for this episode. So I think really the next thing for this specific episode is, well, let's take a look at that purple science that we unlocked. We're now getting to the point where like our science that we have unlocked is starting to eclipse what we have not done yet. Quite fun. So in order to do purple science, we need rails, electric furnaces, and productivity modules. Well, this is pretty cool. Rail is something that we are already working on in a certain spot. Electric furnace, we can produce, and then productivity modules are actually pretty easy to produce because productivity modules only need circuits. They need electronic circuits and advanced circuits. So yeah, so that's what we're gonna start, I guess. So the making of modules is something we should be doing anyway because I should be sticking them all over the place. I should be making tons and tons of modules as is, but we have not gotten there yet, primarily because we have not started on like mass production of these like intermediate products yet. And this is the point in the game where I think I want to start in on that, the sort of mass production by way of like city blocks. So there's a lot of open space up in this top left corner and in this sort of bottom right corner that we can expand out into. I don't know how much space a like production modules set is going to need, but I can tell you that each module itself is created in 15 seconds. So if I want to be producing, say, well, how many does it need for the science packs? Science packs needs one every 21 seconds. So that's actually very awkward that it's 21 seconds. That makes the math very awkward, I have to say. But it does mean that 3 produces 3 facilities producing modules, makes a module every 5 seconds on, which means it can support just less than 4, can produce 3 of those. 5 produces a module every 3 seconds, which can support 7 of the, that's it, it's 3 to 7. Okay. So 3 facilities producing modules support 7 of these. 7 of these produces 1 of these every 3 seconds, which I think is probably good enough for almost any facility. So that's, yeah, so 7 of these produces 1 every 3 seconds. I probably want 2 of them, which means I probably want 2 every 3 seconds. So I want 14. Oh, but it's 3 at a time. It produces 3 of these at a time. I didn't notice that. So it actually produces 9 every 3 seconds. 9 every 3 seconds is pretty good for science capacity. So yeah, 7 of these is probably what the final total is going to be. So for that, I need 3 facilities producing productivity modules. 3 facilities producing productivity modules, and then maybe 1 or 2 producing productivity modules just for my own, maybe 1 producing productivity modules just for my own supply. So that means we need to be making electronic circuits. So this needs, so these produce every 15 seconds, and it needs 5 electronic circuits every 15 seconds, which means it needs 1 every 3 seconds on average. This produces 2 a second. So yeah, a couple facilities producing electron, but then in turn I need advanced circuits. I would need a spreadsheet, and I'm not willing to do that quite yet. So here's what we're gonna do. We're going to start, here's our mission statement. We are going to start producing our city block style setup. And we're gonna start it sort of right here in this little corner. And I'm going to see what I need, but in order to do it, I do need to clear out this cliff area. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a, oh, I have a train stuck on a track. So you are dispermitted from entering that because you cannot enter this block. Why can you not enter this block? Let's follow the logic here. You cannot enter this block because this blue block Ah, because I never... Oh my god, I can't believe you guys have been running around here and I've never signaled this. Oh my god. Hold the freaking phone. I have made a huge mistake. Okay. Chain signals going in. Yeah, oh, whoop. Yeah, that is absolutely the case and what happened here. It's going in and... regular rail signals coming out. My lord, I cannot believe I completely forgot to signal that in any way, shape, or form. Wow, I'm glad I noticed it because of a train stuck randomly on a rail as opposed to, like, coming upon the remains of a destroyed train because, like, two of my trains slammed into each other because of bad signaling. That would have been incredibly frustrating. So we're going to run back over here to the science facilities over here. And from the science facility, I am going to... what is the... Oh yeah, I'm grabbing... let's see, what do I need? I need 10? So yeah, let me grab 50. And I've got a bunch of grenades on me already. I can probably produce more, probably, yeah, because I've got a bunch of coal. So let's make, just do this by hand. Sure, let's just, yeah, we'll make five cliff explosives, and we'll clear out the little cliff that's in our way. And we're going to start with this, our first of our little city block experiments. I've got 2 of them done already. Here we go. Two, 3, and I guess I've got one little bit here, which I'm probably fine with. I will probably actually be okay with that. Okay, so I'm just going to tear down a few trees in this area. And here's our, like, first city block. So if we assume that it's going to look like this, that it's going to, we're going to have a train break off here. Do something like that, right? That's the goal here, right? And like I only want It's probably... Okay. You know what? That's probably okay. And then we'll make a train stop, which we actually have a spare one in inventory right now. Plunk it down there. Okay. Just make some chests just to like show that, you know, we mean business here. 2, 3, 4. There we go. Okay. So we have what will form the basis of our city block. So this is drop-off point. This is drop-off. Well, it occurs to me that that's like a drop-off point, right? But it's not necessarily the drop-off point. Because we have to drop multiple different materials into here. But I guess that's where filter inserters are supposed to come in, right? Like, I've never used filter inserters before, but I guess that's the idea, right? Is that I can set filter inserters. Because what are the base materials I actually need in order to make these circuits, right? I need I need iron, copper, and plastic. So I need 3 different materials to come off there. By and large, I need way more copper than I need any of the other 2. So I can do 2 boxes of copper, 1 box of iron, 1 box of plastic. And that'll probably be good enough. So filter inserters, and then like blast it out there with stack inserters. So if I go 4 stack inserters, yeah, unfortunately the filter inserters cost a lot as well. So we'll have to, because I'm not really sure how stack inserters and filter inserters and stuff work. But I will have a train. First, a train that's carrying iron is going to drop here, and it's going to drop off all its iron. And then like a train's carrying copper is going to come here. It's going to drop off all its copper. Then a train carrying plastic is going to come here, right? But so they can't ever like be here for very long each, which I think is a major concern. But yeah, so anyway, the point of the matter is that now I can sort of start visualizing sort of how I want this to go, which I can only really do if I have the right materials, which I don't right now. So the idea is that some of the iron and some of the copper are going to go off to make electronic circuits. And then, well, the copper is going to go in to make copper cable. I need a ton of copper cable. So the first thing is that there's going to be a whole section just making copper cable, right? Probably 6 or so facilities just making copper cable. And the copper cable is split, and part of it goes off to the electronic circuit production, which is where iron plates are also routed over to, right? So the iron plates go along with half of the copper cable production and start making circuits. Then all of the circuit production, all of the plastic production, all the plastic drop, and the other half of the copper cable runs over to the advanced circuit production line. Well, except not all the electronic circuits, only some of them. Only some of them. Right, so the advanced circuit needs 2 of them every 6 seconds. So it needs 1 every 3 seconds. The electronic circuit recipe makes 6 of them every 3 seconds. So for every 1 of these, I can handle 6 of these. So if I've got 6 of these going and I got 2 of these going, then that means that I have 3 every 6 seconds. Sorry, I've got 12 every 6 seconds. Yeah, 12 every 6 seconds that are just free. 12 every 6 seconds is way more than I need to make the productivity module. So yeah, that'll be plenty. Two facilities producing, yeah. So that will be more than sufficient. Give me this, blow up this last clip. Okay. So that would be more than sufficient. So let's take a look with the math figured out. Let's take a quick look at these filter inserters. And let's say let's put 2 of them down, 1 there, 1 there. For you filter inserters, okay, so you've got a white list or a black list. Override stack size. So you're a filter inserter, you're a stack inserter as well, right? And stack. No, that's a stack inserter. Hold on. Let me 1 + 1. Interesting. Either way. So for you, let's say I can whitelist copper plates. So let's say it's like copper, copper. And then we can whitelist like iron plates, right? That way, if a train dropped here that had iron in it, it would only be picked up by this one going into this box. If a train showed up with copper in it, it would only go into this one. If a train now showed up with plastic in it, it wouldn't go anywhere. Nothing would happen. So we can name this. We can name this block prod mod. This is a productivity module drop. Okay, that seems to be ideal, and so this is going to be our first sort of block area. So yeah, because this will output all sorts of stuff down here. So actually, I can take these stack inserters and I can like boom, 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 just to show. And yeah, these two are going to go together. So like I can put them in a splitter, and I can, after the split, I can route these two from their splitter into a bunch of facilities that are making, yeah, that are making that. And then I can, basically my goal is to just try and make that as small as possible. And then on the other side of all this, I'm going to have something that's outputting a bunch of productivity modules. So if it's outputting a bunch of productivity modules, what I can do then, potentially, I'll have to route it to a different stop. Basically, I have to have a second stop, maybe off the side here, that's like output. Or maybe it'll be like off here, because it would only ever be a small train. I don't know. I'll have to figure that out. But this is a kind of cool start to our city block setup. And I know I didn't really do much this episode, but I think between figuring out our power situation and starting to put down the groundwork to figuring out this, the city block thing, I'm going to try and finish off this city block idea between episodes. And I'll show you guys what I came up with. And you'll see it all in action with all the trains moving back and forth. Because as I've mentioned before, my eventual goal is to dismantle this entire main bus and have everything done in these sort of block style or individual mall style setups, right? Where a bunch of them are going to tile out from here. Some of them are going to tile out this way. Some of them might even fit up here, although there's a lot of cliffs for me to blow up if that's the case. So, you know, some of them might even fit over here, although that's kind of where I want all the power generation. But like, you know, eventually this will take up a big area. So yeah, that's going to be the first thing I do. So I'll see you guys next episode, and we'll see what that looks like. So thank you guys for stopping in to the Fugitive Theater. My name has been Tanis Fugit. And, you know, if you really like what I'm doing here, like the video, share it, subscribe to the channel, all that YouTube stuff that you know by now that I don't like saying, but it does help. So thank you guys very much. Bye-bye.